Greetings, Riverside. I hope you're having a good day. I hope it's a good Wednesday for you and that you're doing well. I want to say a few words to you on this occasion about Daniel and a couple of other people mentioned in his book. The first individual is in chapter 1, verse 1 of Daniel, and he is King Jehoiakim, the 17th king of Israel. And he was a terrible king. I mean, he was a failed leader. The number 2 person is in the same verse, and his name is Nebuchadnezzar, a Chaldean ruling over a superpower in the world about 2,600 years ago. And as you can see from the first 2 verses in Daniel, God allows Israel to be besieged by and delivered into Nebuchadnezzar's hand and carried away into Babylon. Now, why did he allow it? The short answer to why is always disobedience. And it happens over and over and over. Just take a look at the book of Judges sometime. So how long are they going to be in Babylon under oppression? 70 years. You see, God got a belly full of it. And that's why the circumstances are what they are in the first chapter of Daniel. So I got a couple of questions for you here. Have you ever heard the statement, good things happen to good people? You heard that one? How about bad things happen to good people? We've heard both of those, haven't we? Well, which one of those categories do you think Daniel fits in? Well, let's see. Daniel's in a bad place, Babylon. But he's a very handsome, very smart, very dedicated young man, very young man. He gets to serve in the king's palace. He gets the best clothes. He gets food and wine from the king's table, even if he doesn't eat or drink it. God gives him the supernatural power to interpret dreams, which keeps him in the king's favor. He doesn't get thrown in the furnace with his 3 compadres, and the lions don't eat him. You see, good things happen to good people. But for Daniel, that statement doesn't even come close to describing him. I mean, bad things do happen to good people. There's some dead Christians and destroyed church buildings because of tornadoes this year. Bad things happen to good people. There's some dead Christians because of church shootings. Bad things happen to good people. Now, what about Daniel? Daniel is a very young man, a teenager in chapter 1 when he's carried away, and he's a prisoner of war. He's a victim of human trafficking. He's forced to walk 700 miles in captivity to a different country with a different people that speak a different language and serve and worship a different God. People who want to brainwash him and use him. It'd be like Mexico invading Texas, burning Austin to the ground and making all the rest of us walk all the way to Acapulco. Bad times for Daniel. But here's something worse. And this is one of those things that you can just read right on by and never notice it. This is what verse 3 says. Then the king commanded Ashpenaz, his chief eunuch, to bring youths without blemish, handsome and skilled, to serve in the king's palace. Ashpenaz is the chief eunuch. Now, if you're reading an NIV version, it's going to say chief official, and that's going to be wrong. Mr. A here is chief eunuch, which means he's over all the eunuchs. And we know that he's over Daniel. So Daniel must have been made a eunuch. But let's don't speculate. Let's go straight to the prophet and find out. Behold, the days are coming when all that is in your house and that which your fathers have stored up till this day shall be carried to Babylon. Nothing shall be left, says the Lord, and some of your own sons who are born to you shall be taken, and they shall be eunuchs in the palace of the king of Babylon. Well, that's Isaiah chapter 39, and that's Nebuchadnezzar. And eunuch is a surgical procedure done 2,600 years ago to undo. God made them male and female. You see, evil, wicked men have been attacking God's sexual orientation rules for thousands of years. And I'm telling you, it doesn't make any difference how bad it gets for you and me. Daniel had it worse. And sometimes Daniel's book is incorrectly taught. Like this: if you obey and do the right things, you won't suffer and God will deliver you. That's pure baloney. And you say, yeah, but he had all that favor and food, and God kept him out of the furnace, saved his friends, and didn't let the lions eat him. And that's right. All after they emasculated him, after they castrated him. And he lived 69 years in that hellhole till he was in his 80s, absolutely faithful. In 76 years of living, I've never known of a man having that done to him. That's as bad as it gets for a man. So what am I trying to say? Just that innocent people suffer. Innocent people suffer. And there's going to be some times in your life and mine where the consequences of some wrong that we've done are going to catch up with us, and we'll reap what we've sown. But that's not what we're talking about right here. We're talking here about absolutely innocent people suffering. Cause and effect coming when we had no part or lot in something. Daniel was a man in dire circumstances for 69 years. Very young when he was carried away. Not even born when that 70-year debt began to pile up against Israel. But still, the innocent suffer because of Israel as a whole. They all suffered. So what's the point? We might be judging poorly if we think someone who is in really, really good circumstances is a person of faith. We also might be judging poorly if we think someone who is in dire circumstances is not a person of faith. Faith is not about our circumstances. Faith is not measured by circumstances, and it had nothing to do with Daniel's circumstances. Faith is all about the one in whom we trust. The fourth man in the furnace, the baby in the manger, the man at Calvary, is Lord and King over heaven and earth. And regardless of circumstances, we, like Daniel, must place our trust and faith in him. God bless you, and I hope you have a good rest of the week.